Here at the Underwater Channel, we are passionate about marine conservation. Like you, we want to stay informed about the issues and campaigns that most affect the oceans and everything that lives in them. Now, many of you will have seen Captain Paul Watson from the Sea Shepherd charity in the news as he campaigns fearlessly to stop the hunting of whales. For 30 years, Captain Watson has been fighting against issues like seal hunting, illegal whaling and shark finning in international waters. On a recent flying visit to London, we caught up with him and asked him why he carries on with his dangerous and controversial campaigns.
I believe that the protection of the oceans is a battle that can be won, otherwise, I wouldn't be involved in it. And Sea Shepherd is one organization amongst many that is needed to address that. One of the things that I've looked on Sea Shepherd as is an organization that empowers volunteers. So we have many volunteers over the years, and many of them become convinced that they can actually make a difference. But the important thing is that they were no longer powerless. They felt that, yes, we can make a difference. And I think that's a very important thing to teach young people especially, that look, the only thing that's ever made a difference on this planet are individuals and the passion of individuals. So don't think that you can't change it, you can. The particular niche that we fill in this particular ecology is one of interventionists. That's what we do. So we're not a lobbying group, we're not an educational group. We actually go out into the high seas and directly oppose illegal operations.
Oriental Blueboard, or should I say the SS Whale Meat, please remove yourself from these waters. You're in violation of international conservation regulations. We're acting in accordance with the United Nations World Charter for Nature and implementing these regulations. You're in a whale sanctuary and you're assisting in illegal activity. Remove yourself from these waters immediately.
I would really like to see more organizations, because I think that the strength of movement lies in the small organizations and individuals, not the big organizations, and certainly not with government. Well, I just think of myself as an environmentalist, ecologist, a conservationist. I mean, I'm certainly, we get called eco-terrorists all the time, but it doesn't make much sense. I mean, but then again, the Chinese government has just labeled the Dalai Lama as a terrorist. So, who knows what a terrorist is today? It's getting to the point that the only people in the world you can trust are terrorists, because they're the ones that all the people who are destroying the planet are against. I mean, you call a boycott on tuna fish and suddenly you're a terrorist. So, I mean, the word's getting completely misused. But the fact is if I was the terrorist that people said that I was, then I would be on the no-fly list. I wouldn't be allowed to enter the UK or the United States or whatever. And I'm not banned from any country. I've got no criminal record, and I've never injured anybody, so I'm hardly a terrorist. When they started calling us pirates, I said, oh, okay, that's fine. We adopted our own Jolly Roger and use that as their sign. The kids love it, and we're the only organization that's actually enforced the regulations of the International Whaling Commission, and we're the only organization banned from attending the International Whaling Commission meetings as a result. Nobody actually wants to see the enforcement. They just want to make it all look good on paper. The same with all the other environmental things like the Kyoto Protocol or whatever. Everybody signs it, but nobody does anything. It just makes them look good. And that's where the fault with governments lies. It's all just posturing, smoke and mirrors. And the same thing holds true for the big organizations, the big so-called conservation environmental organizations. Their primary interest is in bringing in money and paying their staff and maintaining their administration. It's just big business to them. And so that's why it's very important to have a movement where the backbone are volunteers and individuals and small grassroots organizations that are not motivated by vested interests, but in fact of a genuine concern for protecting the world. At the end of the year, our big campaign is to once again go back to harass the Japanese whaling fleet in the Antarctic whale sanctuary. And that's becoming increasingly more difficult because the Japanese are becoming increasingly more violent in their defense of their whaling operations. And we're also trying to stop the slaughter of dolphins in Japan, and our ongoing campaigns to seize and confiscate long lines throughout the world's oceans. So those are our main campaigns right now. But we're also in, for instance, Sea Shepherd Brazil has lawsuits against fishing companies, which have just won 3 of them, 1 for killing dolphins and 2 for overfishing. So we're trying to address these issues all around the world in different ways as best we can. The problem with the killing ships is that they can scatter and they're faster than we are. When we go after the factory ship like the Nishan Maru, that's the key to the whole operation. But we shut that factory ship down. The other boats have to just sit around idly waiting for an opportunity for the factory ship to come online again. Our chase this year was 23,000 miles. through those waters. We cost them a fortune in fuel, cost ourselves a lot too, but they've spent a lot more. But most importantly, we cost them time, and that time translated into over half the quota not being taken. So it was very successful. I was frustrated by the fact that if we had 2 ships, we could shut them down 100%. Or if we had the cooperation of Greenpeace, we could shut them down 100%. So that's frustrating, but otherwise we did the best we could with the resources available to us. I'm sending off another appeal to Greenpeace to work with us this year, because over the last 2 years, if Greenpeace had worked in coordination and cooperation with us, we could have made a significantly larger impact on the Japanese quota. We shut them down by 50% this year. If we could chase them for the entire time, we could shut them down 100%. But Greenpeace wouldn't cooperate. We have given Greenpeace the coordinates, despite the fact that they refuse to cooperate with us, but they won't return the favor. They have the money, they have the ability, they have the equipment to shut them down 100%. They're refusing to do so. And so I hold them just as much responsible for the killing of whales as the Japanese.